Hey, coaches, welcome to the 2020 football season. I know a lot of you guys, but there are some of you guys I haven't met before. So my name is Jeremiah Berenson, and I am the Vice President of the Dakota Ridge Sports Association, and I'm also the Offensive Coordinator for the Dakota Ridge High School football program. And so real quick today, I wanted to send you guys a quick video with some information that can hopefully help make sure that we're all on the same page as an association regarding what our plan is to help monitor the pandemic and how it's affecting our teams potentially, as well as how we would respond. So it's all kind of about prevention and then how we'll respond. As a board of directors, we do have a plan for response. And so I'll talk a little bit about it later on in the video here. Attached to this, you guys will also see a list of guidelines. There should be attached to this same email, a list of guidelines for Dakota Ridge sports and returning to play. And it's football specific. I would ask that you guys look through those carefully, as they're going to be take you a little bit deeper than this video will. At the end of that is a waiver that all team members should sign. And so, again, you'll want to send that out to your families, and it gives them a chance to kind of see what our plan is as well. So in our eyes, what we really want to talk about in this video real quickly here is just the prevention side of things, what we're going to do to try to prevent and monitor the situation, and then just response if there was an infection. Okay, and so just to highlight a few things from this document. Okay, first and foremost, we want to make sure that we're definitely following mandates and guidelines around mask wearing and around distancing. Those are the things right there that are the most optic for people. So if people who monitor our fields like Foothills, Park and Rec, see us not following those things, obviously that's going to lead to us getting permits pulled. It's just unsafe environment. So luckily, JYFA has agreed this year to let fans sit along the back of the end zone. That hasn't been something they've been able to do in the past. And so that helps with spacing. We do want to make sure that people are not setting up behind the team box. So fans should not be setting up behind the kids, again, to just kind of separate the fan area from the team area. And so we would love your help with making sure people understand how to space out on those sideline spots that aren't behind your team box, as well as in those end zone areas. There's more information on that in those guidelines as well. As far as the day-to-day stuff, we want to make sure that you guys are doing symptom checks, and list of symptoms are in that document as well. We need to be doing temperature scans every practice and game as well. It's really important you guys are doing both of those things every time you're with the kids, because if there is an infection, we need to really know the first time any of those symptoms pulled up. And so we want to make sure that you guys are doing that. The guideline for temperature is 100.4. So if it's 100.4 or higher, as they come to practice, you're going to set them, isolate them off to the side. You can check your other people in, and then go back and do a second screening on them. If they pass it the second time, then you're certainly good to go. If they fail it twice again, then that's when they'll be directed to head home. Okay. So between checking for symptoms and temperature, we want to make sure that we're really pushing sanitizing, whether it's them sanitizing their hands and their own equipment, the equipment that you guys would use, such as balls or bags in practice. Doing all of that stuff regularly is going to be key. We should not have any shared drinks. Obviously, that's kind of the most common thing. You'd have a communal drink station or something. We don't want to have that right now. And then contact tracing is going to be key as well. You guys can do it a lot of different ways, but when you're at practice or when you guys have games, you want to make sure that we know who is there as far as our team is concerned. And then if it's a game, I would include officials, referees in that as well, so that we know exactly who's at those events, so that if there was an infection, we know who to alert and who needs to be aware of the situation. If we did have somebody contracted, if there was an infection, the first thing we have to make sure that we're really good about is knowing when those symptoms first started, because that kiddo or coach potentially is going to need to be isolated, quarantined, whatever, for 14 days from when those symptoms arose. As far as the rest of the team, Our board, the president, Shane Fujita, and myself will work with the coach to make sure that we are implementing kind of a return to practice or return to game structure. One of the big keys is just that a person hasn't had any symptoms for a 72-hour period. And so it would be one of those things where we don't want to necessarily punish the whole team if someone can't play because they contracted it, but we do want to make sure that we're really monitoring the situation. And so that's something that it's probably more important that you guys just know that if you do have an infection on your team, our board needs to know right away. And so just like if you guys ever have questions or concerns, if you have an infection on your team, any of those things, the best place to go would be sending that email to DRSAOM@hotmail.com. That goes directly to our office. You can put it to a certain person, and then our office staff, Stacy, will direct it to whomever it is addressed to. Otherwise, she will respond directly to our board of directors if that's the course of action that needs to be taken. So again, that's DRSAOM@hotmail.com. I also know a lot of you guys have our football director's contact info, John Kellner and Joe Christensen. You could certainly use them as a point of contact, and then they would come directly to us as well. Those are things we'd want to put in place right away so that we could contact the coaches, get an understanding of the situation exactly, the specifics, and develop that plan with you guys to get your team out on the field safely. That is about it, guys. So just make sure that you also take a look at the document that's attached. Make sure that all of your team members sign that waiver. You should just put that in your book with you where you guys keep all of your other stuff for the football season. Again, I'm really excited. I have 2 football players that play in this youth system, 2 of my boys, and they're super excited to get going this week. Obviously, as a high school coach, I don't get to get going until February. Which is sort of a bummer, but it gives me a chance to be around the youth program and around my own sons more. And so I'm super excited about that. I'm super confident that as a group of men that we're going to hold ourselves to this high standard. We're going to make sure that we're monitoring and checking and responding correctly if need be. I just know it's going to happen. So I'm really excited. I look forward to seeing you guys all out there. And I hope all of you guys just have a great season. So thanks so much for watching the video, and go Eagles.